summarize the story in a few minutes from the time I met you over a decade ago in a small, tiny laboratory in a deserted fishing plant in Ísafjörður, a town of 3,000 people in the Western Fjords.
It feels it was only a few years ago, but I guess a decade goes fast. Well, my background is from the prosthetic industry, and there people are amputated because of chronic wounds. You will get diabetes, then the blood vessels die in the feet, and then people lose their senses, they get wounds, and eventually sometimes the wounds get so big that the amputation is the only thing that can be done. And actually, globally, about 500,000 people are amputated every year because of chronic wounds and diabetes, obesity, and vascular diseases. In the US, it's about 250,000 people. And in Europe, about 150. And there's amazing growth, unfortunately, in Asia and in the Middle East. And there are good wound dressings that are manufactured to treat the wounds. Coloplast is one of the manufacturers of those dressings. But unfortunately, many wounds don't heal, and 6% of them end up in amputations. And my mission, really, when I founded Kerecis, was the hunt and the look for alternative technologies that could work better than wound dressings. And there are technologies where skin from dead people are used. There is transplantation technology. There are tissues from pigs and all sorts of products that are being used. But all these products, they have the weakness that there is a disease transfer risk from the mammalian tissue to the human mammalian. So if you use a pig tissue or cadaver tissue, there is always disease transfer risk. But from the cold water fish, there is no disease transfer risk. So we can process our material gently, and it maintains its three-dimensional structure, its strengths. And the amazing thing is that actually the fish skin is identical to human skin. And when you look at the cod, there's a head of a cod there, it looks very dissimilar to humans, but actually the skin is exactly the same. It's got epidermis, dermis, subcutaneous tissue. It has the same cell types, fat, elastin, and glycans. Everything is identical. The only thing that's different between the fish skin is the scales. Fish has scales, we have developed hairs, and that there is no disease transfer risk from cod fish to humans or from cold water fish to humans. And that's basically the essence of our technology. And we've been growing very fast. We started selling in 2016. We've doubled our revenue every year. Our revenue this year was well over $100 million. We are by far the fastest growing company in Iceland, and we are the fastest growing company in our segment in the US. We are the fastest grower employer in Ísafjörður, where I come from, and where our factory is. We are also actually the fastest growing employer in Virginia, where our US office is. And this has really been a dream come true for me. So I come from Ísafjörður. When I was growing up there and staying with my grandparents, and I could sense the decline of the area with the quota system that eventually proved out to be extremely positive, though. But the economical turnover and operational turnover in the Westfjords went substantially down from the 1980 to the 2000s, and I saw that happen in front of me, and I'm very proud actually that I'm participating, and Kerecis is participating now. Coloplast, the company that just acquired us, the Danish company, is participating in really making Ísafjörður and the Westfjords and the raw material that we source, that is so important, the gifts that we are given by Mother Earth, that we are taking that and helping making Ísafjörður a prosperous society again, like it was in the beginning of the 19th century. Yeah, so that's basically the Kerecis story in a few words.
We were going to have the CEO of Coloplast here also on the stage, but due to the weather, he will only arrive tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. I told him
we were going to ask him the question, why did you pay well over $1 billion for this company? Come on. I think the reason why he paid that amount of money or Coloplast, which is huge, by the way. The foreign minister of Denmark was here on the stage earlier on. I think it's the biggest investment Denmark has ever made in Iceland. Skin of cod. Skin of cod. 500 years of history between Iceland and Denmark. He saw the potential. He saw the potential for the global market. So the reason why we put Fertram here on the stage is this fundamental message that in the 21st century of biotechnology and the global health sector, the ocean resources that we have in the Arctic is the new gold mine. Is the new gold mine. The reason why Lauren Jobs, Steve Jobs' widow, decided to invest in Kerecis was that she saw the potential of the message to the world that the purity of the oceans can guarantee the health sector of the 21st century. Because quite frankly, the forests and the areas in Latin America, Indonesia, and others which have fed raw material for the health industry and the pharmaceutical industry in previous decades, they can no longer do that because of pollution. And as, I hope I'm quoting it correctly, the American Food and Drug Administration said, when they approved the Kerecis product for the American market, if it had been a fish from the Mediterranean, we would never have approved it. Because it's so polluted.
Well, it's because of the temperature difference, not
maybe
because of the Mediterranean. So, yeah.
Maybe also, but whatever the reason, we have to realize in the Arctic that we are probably the only region in the world with vast ocean territories and reasonably preserved fish stocks that are so far so unpolluted that we can directly transfer from marine resources to the modern health sector. Maybe in the Pacific Islands, states on their territory you can do it, but they don't have the modern fishing sector as we have here in the Arctic. So this is a fundamental message to the Arctic. There is a new roadmap, my friends. There's a new roadmap. It's not just about oil and gas and energy and mining, etc. It's about using science, research, biotechnology to utilize what has provided our livelihood for centuries in a new way. So tell us, since Christian is not here, why on earth did he pay over $1 billion for this?
Well, it is actually multiple. So companies like ours, they are valued in a multiple between revenue and the market value of the company. And we are growing very fast. And we are growing the fastest in the US market. The US market is traditionally a very difficult market for Scandinavian companies to crack. And actually we have been very successful in introducing our product to the US market. So there is actually a myth that Americans, they don't care about the environment and they don't want sustainable products. They don't want to participate in the circular economy. We are very successful, actually more than $100 million successful in only a few years, in marketing our product as a sustainable natural product with a low carbon footprint to the American markets. And we are the product is being bought because of its clinical efficacy and because of the environmental message that we bring with it. And so that has been a very successful strategy that has been very well received in the US. But so what we have is a unique patented product that has been confirmed in five randomized clinical trials as being more efficacious than other products on the market. It is sustainable. It is relatively cheap to make, although we spent a lot of money in clinical trials and regulatory matters and so on. And there is need for the product. And I'm the inventor of the product, and it's really a dream come true for me that Coloplast acquires the product. We will continue our fast growth in the US. but we don't really exist outside of the US. We have very little operations outside of the US. And through Coloplast is selling in 140 countries around the world. And through the Coloplast partnership, my invention, the sustainable product from our hometown, from Ísafjörður, can become the standard of care in those 140 countries all around the world, become the standard of care globally for people that are in threat of amputations, suffering from a burn wound or a gun wound or a bomb wound.
This is Ísafjörður, for those of you who don't know.
The picture is taken in the wintertime, though, just to have that clear.
Among the mountains and the ocean, typical Arctic place. The next door neighbor to Greenland, so far as Iceland is concerned.
So this is actually taken from where the road used to go over. So there's a tunnel through there now, but I remember driving over this road. Yes.
Anyhow, so we will end. Thank you for presenting this. But as you see from the program, Kerecis is hosting the final party on Saturday evening here. We established this tradition some years ago, the final night. Greenland did it splendidly, Greenland night. And the Faroe Islands did, and also the Koreans, the Japanese, and the others. So there will be an Ísafjörður night, thanks to you. Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, in addition to being the birthplace of this extraordinary biotechnology company, they have fantastic musicians. They are world famous in Iceland. And after the Ísafjörður night on Saturday, they will be world famous all over the Arctic. So please be there. You will enjoy yourself. Congratulations, Fertram, for this.
See you on Saturday night.
For the message you have given to the Arctic.